When you're not profitable, everything else is a struggle. Hey, it's Brad here, and before we get into the show, I want to tell you about the show sponsor. Now, I personally use this company in my own business, and so I was thrilled whenever they reached out and said they wanted to sponsor the show. Today's sponsor is JobTread. JobTread is an all-in-one construction management software. JobTread streamlines processes for builders and contractors, from estimating and scheduling to job costing and invoicing. With JobTread, you can create precise estimates quickly, improving the chance of winning jobs, and their dynamic scheduling allows you to keep projects on track with Gantt charts and scheduling tools. JobTread also allows you to collaborate with teams, vendors, and clients in one location. No more missed information, who said, she said. It's all in one location. And their API integration tools connect with your favorite software like QuickBooks Online, Hammer CRM, or any other API-friendly apps. JobTread is perfect for builders and contractors of all sizes. Whether you're a solo contractor or run a large team, JobTread scales to fit your needs and works great for remodelers, home builders, deck builders, pool builders, and general contractors. Try JobTread today and learn how it can help streamline, manage, and grow your construction business. Visit jobtread.com or click the link in the show notes for more details. Now let's get to the show. Hey, welcome back to the show. I got a good one for you today. I'm going to be talking about the 5 biggest problems that I solve for my clients. And these also apply to almost every contractor that I talk to, because these are things that are fundamental to your business and they have the largest impact in your business. And let's jump right into it. So number 1, which is the most important, and everything else hinges on this, and that is profitability. We have to make your business profitable. You have to make a lot more money than you currently are. I can take any contractor in any trade, in any location, it does not matter, and I can guarantee you that you need to make more money, period. You need to make more money, and what that means is you have to charge more. That's the simplest thing I can tell you. You have to charge more money than you currently are. 1, because it requires a lot more money than what you think it does to have a successful business. But 2, when you make more money, it makes everything else easier. I've made lots of videos and talked about this on the podcast. When you have money, you can show up to problems in style. When you have money, you can solve problems much easier. I know what it's like when your motor blows up and it's going to cost you $6,000, $7,000 to replace your motor, and you don't have $6,000, $7,000 in the bank account. So you have to go put it on a Discover card and then pay interest on it. And then a year later, you finally pay it off and you end up paying, $7,500 for a $6,500 motor. I know what that's like. I've been there. I've done that. When you have money in the bank and that happens, does it suck? Sure, it sucks. But when I can just go write a check or pay cash and I can take the money and pay it, I don't have the added stress of having payments each month. Because now when I have to make that credit card payment of $200 a month, that's less cash flow that I have in my business. And when you're already strapped with cash flow, that money hurts. And one of the things I did wrong in my business early on is I extended myself way too far out by using credit cards and debt to buy vehicles and buy equipment and all this stuff. And my cash flow was so low, so weak, that if anything went wrong, it would set me back 2 months. And I'd have to save up because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't charging enough. Okay. So profitability is the single biggest thing that I saw. That's why it's called my coaching program is called the Profit Club. And I have the Profit Accelerator now. Everything is revolving around profit. My book, The Contractor Profit Blueprint. Why? Because you have to be profitable. It's the most important thing you have to do in your business. And like I always end every show, profit is not a dirty word. Now, do your customers want to pay you more? No. Who wants to pay more? Nobody. Everybody wants a deal. But that's not your problem. That's their problem. And so your problem is to make sure that you charge appropriately, and then you have to make sure that you deliver the value on the other side of that. And so with profitability, we're talking about charging more. We're talking about cash flow, managing our cash flow. I've done videos on the 4 C's of cash flow. We got to make sure we charge enough. We got to make sure we're collecting enough through the process with deposits and milestone payments. We have to make sure that we're conserving enough money, that we're not spending it, right? And we have to make sure that we are having money out there for long term, like for rainy day. Like we got to keep enough of it. So we want to make sure that we're not spending all of our money as soon as we get it. So making sure that we have the finances in place, that we're checking our P&L, that we're looking at our finances every month, that we're actually going through and, reconciling our bank statements, all of the money stuff that we hate. I help my clients get that set up and make sure it's doing it. We work on setting up multiple bank accounts. I'm a big fan of the profit first accounting methodology. So you have multiple bank accounts so that you can easily manage your money and you're not just using checking account balance, finances. You're not doing the Santa Claus financial, gain, financial accounting or Santa Claus accounting where you wait till the end of the year to find out how much money you make, right? Like we know my clients track their sales every week, every day, every week, every month. They know how much money they've sold. They know if they're on target to hit their goal or not. It's not a guess. They know. At each week, they can look and see, hey, I'm short. I needed to sell $5,000 this week. I only sold 4. I got to come up with an extra $1,000 somewhere. Maybe I stay late on Friday. Maybe I come in on Saturday, bang out a couple more sales calls to try and get these jobs closed, follow up on a couple people that haven't, made the decision yet. Whatever it takes. When you know what you need to do financially, then you know what actions you need to take to make that happen. When you're just guessing, when you're just passively checking on the backside of that, at the end of the month, you look and say, whoa, did I make any money this month? Guys, that's not how you run a business, period. You don't do that. You should know at any second if you're on track or not. You should know if you're hitting your sales goals or not. Those are all things that we track. We track that. We want to make sure that we know where we're at. It's no guessing. We don't guess in business. We know in business, and we use data to collect that information and do that. So profitability is number one. That's the single most important thing. Once I fix your profitability, now we have more money available to invest in other areas of our business to solve. Trying to solve, a sales problem whenever you're not making enough money is difficult because you're stressed out because you're not making enough money. Most of my clients make their investment back in the first month. 2 months is like the most. You heard Kyle come on, or actually I haven't had Kyle on here yet. I did a case study with Kyle last couple weeks ago, and in his first year in business sold over $300,000. I mean, he started his business and then joined the Profit Club the same month, basically. And then within his first year, he sold over $300,000 at a 50% gross profit. He sold his first high ticket job, a $93,000 job, his third month in business at a 50% gross profit. He walked away with $45,000 gross profit. He was able to get a website design, a professionally designed website, get his vehicle wrapped, have money, extra money, have money for profitability. He's hired 4 people. That's all in his first year because he took the investment, invested in himself, joined the Profit Club, got the information. We made him profitable from day one. And with those profits, he was able to reinvest in his business. When you're not profitable, everything else is a struggle. So we got to get that right first. The second thing, and long term, this is more important, but I fix mindsets. Now, mindset's not sexy. No one wants to think that their opinions are wrong. Everyone thinks their opinion's right. Everyone thinks they know what they're doing. No one wants to look in the mirror and say, oh, you know what? You actually suck. Nobody wants to do that. So it's not sexy to say, but it's a reality. Mindset is one of the biggest things that's keeping you from being profitable. Because when I tell you and you hear me say, charge double your COGS, and you're like, Brad, that sounds great. I would love to do that. But that but is the limiting belief you have. There should be no buts. It should be, you hear me say, charge double your COGS, and you're like, okay, I've never done that. Let me go try that. That is a growth mindset. A limiting belief says, that sounds great, but insert excuse. That sounds great, but it doesn't work in my area. But everyone else is cheaper. But, I don't have enough time. But this won't work. But I've tried it once before and it doesn't work for me. Those are all limiting beliefs. But those are not true facts. Those are beliefs that you created in your own brain as a mechanism to keep you safe, to keep your ego safe from having to admit that you're wrong and you don't know what you're doing. This mindset is the most important thing. Mindset is what keeps everyone stuck. You watch the news too much, you will develop a certain negative limiting belief mindset about one political party. You will have a negative belief around, of different people. If you're exposed to enough negative stuff, you will believe it. My saying is garbage in your brain equals garbage out. I can't take garbage, meaning bad information, put it into my brain, and then my brain somehow cleans it up like it's a recycling plant and then produces, recycled plastic and information. That's not how it works. Your brain takes the information and then exacerbates it and makes it worse, meaning you get a little bit of garbage in and it comes out as massive garbage. That's what our brain does. If you have limiting beliefs, you're going to be stuck no matter what. If you say nobody wants to work anymore, that's a limiting belief. Even if it's true, you saying it will keep you from finding people who want to work. If you believe that nobody wants to work, then every time you interview someone, you are going to be judging them against your belief that no one wants to work. And so you will actually self-sabotage during that interview because you're looking for all of the red flags to prove to yourself that you're right, that no one wants to work. And you will take a perfectly good person and you will look for the micro fault. And then your brain goes up, see, right there. They said they don't like to work late because they have kids at home. That's not going to work for me. You got to be able to work 100 hours a day. You got to work hard. These kids just don't want to work anymore. That's what your brain does. Your brain will sabotage and you'll completely weed them out. No, that's not going to work. Yep. You got to be 100% dedicated to our company and you got to sacrifice your whole life for me. It sounds ridiculous, but that is exactly what your brain does when you have a limiting belief. Not to get too scientific here, but the RAS, the reticular activating system, is the part of the brain that goes and finds information to give you the justification of a belief. You ever went and you buy a car? You're like, I'm going to go buy this car. I'm going to get this color, this orange color that I've never seen another color in this, in my city on this car. I'm going to go buy a Mustang or whatever, Corvette, doesn't matter. And I'm going to get this orange color because I love it. And you go by the dealership and then on the way home, you pass another car that's orange. You're like, what? I've never seen it before. The reason why is that car was always there. The other orange car was already there. You just weren't looking for it. But as soon as your brain said, I want this orange car, the RAS says, okay, bet. I'm going to show you. And now it's looking for that information. It's bias. It's looking for examples of that information. So now your subconscious is actually looking for information of that. That's why when you say things like, I can't, right? Your RAS says, okay, sure. Let me give you evidence as to why you can't. When you say people don't want to work anymore, your RAS says, sure, let me go give you evidence of why that's true, right? Those are all mindset problems. Those are things that we fix. Part of mindset is also confidence. One of the most beneficial things that we do in our program is sales training. We do role plays. And that is a huge boost of confidence because you can practice now with no repercussion of losing a sale. We can practice with each other and then we can get better at it because anytime you do something new, you're not going to be good at it. We get better at it through practice. And then we go and we do the real thing with our clients when we're good. So the confidence you get from repetition helps you with everything. And by the way, the sales that we teach is really more communication. So not only does it work in sales, it works with your employees, it works with your kids, it works with your spouse, it works in difficult situations, it works in public. We're teaching you things that apply across your whole life. It's going to benefit you once you learn how to communicate with people. And once you understand and recognize communication patterns, it's going to help you in all aspects of your life. Those are all mindset things that we help with the confidence, at least the confidence side of it. Also, I have one of my videos in my training. I make my clients go into our Facebook group and post a very specific post that says, I vow today to stop being an employee in my business and start being a business owner. That may seem silly or it doesn't matter. It does matter because most of you are operating from an employee mindset. You still believe that you get paid by the hour to provide value. Business owners don't get paid by the hour. They get paid by solving problems, and they get paid more for the bigger problem they solve. Once you shift and understand that you get paid a value based on the problem that you solve, and you're not getting paid by the hour, you can shift time, because now it's not, well, if I want to make $1,000, I have to work, 40 hours or whatever. Now it's, if I want to make $1,000, I just solve this problem, and it may only take me 2 hours to solve this problem. I get paid $1,000 for solving a problem that took me 2 hours, versus an employee mindset is I have to work 40 hours to make $1,000. Those are different. Employee mindsets keep you stuck. You're not an employee in your business. Even if you're a one-man show and you're doing all the work, you can't have an employee mindset. You have to have a business owner mindset. So that's all around mindset. The third thing that I help clients with is time management, but there's more to it than that. It's how to get your time back, right? And so the biggest way that we save time in our business is in the estimating/sales process. My clients don't do free estimates anymore. We're going to eliminate that from your vocabulary. We go to our website and remove anything that says free. Like, there shouldn't be anything that says free. We are not trying to be the free, low-cost budget option. We're trying to be the high-cost premium option. It doesn't matter what you do. You can be a handyman and still be the premium option. You can be a drywall finisher and be the premium option. You can be a plumber and be the premium option. You can pick up dog poop and be the premium option, right? Like, that doesn't matter. That's more positioning. It's more confidence. It's more branding. Those things go into, with the estimating and sales, like, we want to save time by eliminating this free stuff, because your time is valuable. My average clients save between 10 and 15 hours a week just by changing their sales process, just by eliminating free estimates. You will save 10 to 15 hours a week, some more, some less, depending on how many jobs and estimates you do. But you're lowering the amount of time that you spend in the sales process. No longer are you doing free estimates and feeling like you're wasting your life away doing free estimates. We eliminate that. That's huge. So what do you think happens whenever we charge you more money, or not charge you, we make you more money, you charge more so you can make more money, and then you work less hours? Just those two things, what do you think happens to your life and your business? You make more money working less. Does that sound appealing at all? I mean, sign me up for that all day. I want to make more money doing less, right? That's what we got to do. So the time management part of it is, with the estimating and sales, is eliminating free estimates, teach you the sales process so that you can actually do this in a very quick and efficient manner, get paid to go do the estimate, and install the sales process so that it's repeatable and easy to do. The backside of with the time management is, most of you guys, if I followed you around for a week, every day, like from 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever till 10 o'clock at night, 6 to 10 or whatever you get up, if I followed you around and I just made notes or recorded you all day long, like a fly on the wall, I guarantee you're wasting a minimum of 2 hours a day on stuff that you shouldn't be doing. That's the minimum. On average, you're probably wasting about 4 to 5 hours a day doing stuff you should not be doing. Hey, just a quick time out from the show. If you're a frustrated contractor who's dealing with low profit margins, stuck working on the tools every day, or doing free estimates for people who are never going to hire you in the first place, I invite you to my private contractor community, the Profit Club, where contractors just like you are adding 2 to 3 times more profit each year without producing any more jobs, and finally getting completely off the tools to never do another free estimate again. So if you're ready to increase your profits, stop doing free estimates, and get off the tools, then all you have to do is click the link in the show notes to learn more about the Profit Club and see how it can easily 2 to 3 times the cash in your pocket, give you a proven sales process that will convert more jobs with ease, and get you off the tools once and for all. And the best part is you can do all of this without having to produce more jobs than you currently are. Click the link to learn more. Now let's get back to the show. As an owner, you should not be going and getting materials ever. Why would you, someone who is the owner of the business, whose value to the business is somewhere between $150 to $200 an hour on average, if you were paying someone $200 an hour, would you want them going and getting materials, or would you want the apprentice that you're paying $18-20 an hour to go get materials? If you had to pay someone, which one would you want to have? Well, if you say the $200 an hour, there's something wrong with you. I mean, there's just something wrong with you. Well, Brad, but my time's free. No, it's not. Your time is not free. That's an employee mindset. As an owner, everything you do costs something. Every second of the day that you're doing something, it costs something. There is a trade-off. If you're going and getting materials, that means that you're not, doing the estimates you need to do. You're not doing designs. You're not doing sales calls. You're not doing the project management. You're not ordering the materials. You're not talking to the subs. You're not doing any of that stuff. Depending on your role in the business, if you're going and getting materials, then you're not able to do other things that are more important that actually provide more value to the business. You should not be getting materials, period. But Brad, my guys are stupid and they don't know they always get the wrong stuff. Well, then get new guys. I mean, why do you have morons working for you if that's the case? By the way, back to point one. When you make more money, guess what you get to do? You get to pay more money for better employees. Now you don't have to hire the meth head, at $15 an hour because that's the most you can afford. Now you can go pay someone $35 an hour because they're worth it. That's what happens when you have more money. That's why I said it's number one, because everything else trickles from there. So time management is you waste too much time doing stupid crap in your business that you shouldn't be doing. You waste time because, it's not fun. It's not fun looking at numbers and crunching and doing all that stuff. It's still a requirement, but it's not fun. So you put it off, and you make up stuff you have to do. Well, I got to go out and check on this job. I got to go out and check on this job because I'll do my P&L later because it's not fun. So you put it off. You went out and looked at a job that you didn't need to go look at. So you're wasting time. So time management is something that we deal with, time blocking. By the way, just a little tip. If you're doing sales calls, this is really anything. Here's what most contractors do. I get up and I go on the job. I go to the office or I go to the warehouse or whatever. And from 8 to 9, I'm doing emails. And from 9 to 10, I may be doing estimates. Or 8 to 10, I'm doing estimates. And then after that, I do invoices. And then after that, I go look at the job sites. And then after that, I come back and do some sales stuff, or I go to appointments. You're doing the same thing 5 days a week. So every day you're doing estimates. Every day you're doing invoices. Every day you're doing sales. Every day you're doing project management. That's not how you manage your time. You should only be doing estimates 1 or maybe 2 days a week. You should only be doing invoices no more than 1 day a week. You block out these times of when you do these things. The benefit to that is that when you're in estimating mode and you got 4 estimates to bang out, you're in that mindset already, and then you do one, which takes you a little bit of time to get into it, but now you're in the groove, and so you bang the second one out, you're getting faster and more confident. You do the third and fourth. You can do 4 estimates in 2 hours, tops time, depending on what you do. But if you do one every day, if you do one estimate every day, it takes you 45 minutes to an hour to do one because you have to get into that mindset and that mode. And so instead of doing 4 estimates in 2 hours, you're doing 4 estimates in 1 hour over 4 days. And so now it's costing you 4 hours of productivity when you could have done it in 2 if you just grouped it together. So you should be time blocking the things that you do to match what you're doing in your business. And you also pick certain times. We don't do sales calls 24/7. If we have a discovery call scheduled, we have certain days of the time, certain days of the week, certain times and days of the week that we are available. So maybe we're available on Mondays and Tuesdays from 4 to 5 or from 1 to 5. And then Thursdays we're available from 8 to 12, and Friday we're available from 4 to 5 again. Like we have different time slots. So when our clients pick a time to do the discovery call, it's going to fit within those times, and you're in sales mode. So you're not on the job site swinging a hammer and the phone rings and you're like, hello. And they're like, oh, hey, can I get a free estimate? And now you're frustrated because, you were up on a ladder trying to install drywall or whatever. And now you got to stop. You got to come down off the ladder. You got to go out to your truck. You got to get a phone or grab a piece of cardboard off the ground and get your pencil out and start taking information down. You're not in sales mode. You're in carpenter mode, and you're not going to be good at the sales process. So my clients don't take sales calls when they're on the field. If they do, if they have to do that, they're doing it in their truck, and their truck is set up to do sales. But typically they're having dedicated times that they're doing the sales calls. Now they may answer the phone, but then they're going to reschedule the sales call for one of those block times that they have. That way they're in sales mode. If you're groggy in the morning till 10 o'clock and you got to have 5 cups of coffee before you wake up, you should not be taking sales calls before 10 o'clock. You need to be at your best. When you're at your most confident in your best, that's when you take sales. So we work on time management to make sure you set up a time that you can take sales and be effective or do anything else. So time management is a big one for a lot of guys. The next one you may think is kind of controversial or not important, but it actually factors in quite a bit, and that's branding. Now, branding and marketing, they go hand in hand. But when I say branding, I mean we work on creating a strong brand that people recognize in your marketplace and put you as the expert, as the professional in the marketplace. When you're seen as the expert in your marketplace, then you can demand expert prices, right? So this all goes hand in hand. If you want to charge premium prices, but you look like, some homeless man driving a rust bucket, you're going to have a hard time being able to do that. Not saying it's impossible, but you're definitely going to have a harder time trying to do that. So we got to make sure you look professional, you act professional, you present professional. And that includes, the way your website's designed, the name of your business. I've had 4 clients do a complete rebrand after joining. They realize that their brand sucks. And so they rebrand and they niche down. Chris was one of them. He was on the podcast a few episodes ago. Go listen to that podcast if you hadn't. Chris with Blue Mountain Bathrooms. He's had a phenomenal results of rebranding. So I've had several clients rebrand, like do a complete rebrand, change name, change logo, colors, everything. I've had some clients that have just cleaned up, like use the same name, but create a different logo or branding around that. That's important. The brand is important. And then we work on creating websites, your social media, your output, blog posts, things like that to, again, make you the expert. Those are things that go under branding. We talk about marketing, like the different types of marketing that works. There's long-term, there's short-term, there's paid, there's free. That ties into the branding aspect of it. Also talk about niching down. A lot of clients of mine niche down because they realize the easiness of it. It's much easier to run a business when you have one service than it is when you have 6 different services. It's much easier when you have one. Everything else becomes easier. So a lot of clients are niching down. They're deciding, hey, I don't want to do roofing, siding, windows, doors, decks. I'm just going to niche down and do siding. Or maybe I'm just going to do roofs and siding. Got some clients that went from being a handyman and now they're rebranding and they're niching down and doing outdoor living. They're doing decks and kitchens. They're niching down to more specific things. Got clients that have done general contracting across the board, but now they're going to just pick one service or maybe a couple. That's part of branding. You want to be branded as the expert. If you're a one call does it all, there's nothing professional about that. You are not the expert. One call does not do it all. Maybe in your mind it does. Maybe in your world that you live in that's not reality, you may think that works. But one call does not do it all. That's a lie. You're lying to yourself. You're never going to be the expert. People are not going to see you that way. One call does it all is the same as going to a general practitioner doctor. I have a meeting Friday with a pulmonologist, a lung person, a respiratory expert. I have a meeting Friday with an expert who deals with lungs and stuff, and specifically like post-COVID damage and all that, because that's what I've struggled with, because he's an expert in lungs. I'm not going to see a general practitioner who's a doctor who just works on your whole body. I'm not going to see someone who is an orthopedic surgeon who works on knees and elbows. I'm going to an expert who knows what they're doing. The one call does it all is going to the general practitioner who just works on you, a family physician. That's what you are. You're like a family physician. An expert does those things specifically. If your kid had cancer and needed to go see a specialist to solve their problems, you're not going to go to a generalist. Guarantee it. Bet money you're not going to a generalist. You're not going to a family doctor. You're going to go see an oncologist person who specializes in cancer, because it's that important. It's no different than your business. For some reason, there's like a block in your head that you think that doesn't matter. But in your world, everything you do, you go to a specialist. But for whatever reason, you can do everything. And you don't think that matters. It does matter. It matters so much. So much it matters. The name of your business matters so much. But we just, most people just like, that doesn't matter. I got pictures. Let me do my voice.
I got pictures, Brad. I got pictures and all this stuff that we can do.
Doesn't matter. You're not the expert. I digress. Yeah, so that's branding, number 4. The last thing, this isn't really something that I fix, but it's something that you need. And I've talked about it before. The last thing, the 5th thing that I help my clients with is putting them into a community. I cannot stress enough of how important it is to get into a community and stop trying to lone wolf it in your business. Stop trying to just figure it out on your own. Stop thinking that if you ask for help, that you're weak. I've had people get on a call with me that want to get coaching, and they're like, it's taken me 3 months just to schedule this call. And I'm like, why? What's up? Well, I just feel like I'm a failure if I have to get help. I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I didn't tell him that, but like, you think you can't get help? You think that you have to figure this out on your own? You think that if you ask for help, that's weakness? It's stupid. It's so freaking stupid. Why would anyone ever think that? Every successful person on the planet has gotten help from someone else. They've all asked for help. Not asking for help is the single dumbest thing you can do. And so when you get into a community, you're no longer living on an island trying to figure it out. Now you can have conversation, right? You don't have to, you don't feel alone. You're not isolated. You're with others. You're with brotherhood, sisterhood. You're with other people that you can connect with and rely on. That's way more important than anything. This is why we have hobbies and we have clubs. You want to go hunting, maybe you're a hunter and you join like a hunting club or something. Maybe you're a bowler, you go join like a bowling league. It's the camaraderie that you have that really makes it valuable. I do shooting, competitive shooting. When I go to my club matches and I see the guys that I shoot with over and over, they're friends. We give each other a hard time. We make fun of each other. We congratulate each other. It becomes a community. You don't feel like a stranger. You don't feel like you don't know what you're doing. I mean, if you were to come to one of our club matches and see me, you could come up and ask me anything. And I would, bend over backwards to try and help you out, give you advice, tell you what you should and shouldn't do. I mean, that's what you need. You need community, right? And through community, you can have mentorship. We have a WhatsApp channel for the Profit Club. And of course, there's always messages all day with stuff going on. But there was a message. I'm trying to find it here. I probably should have had this figured out ahead of time. But the guys were talking about some estimating and like the ways they do their estimates and proposals and all that stuff. And they were talking about it. And one of my new, latest clients that joined a few weeks ago, he made a comment and he said, I'm going to try and find this here. Okay, here it is. I just found it. He said, this was a comment. They were talking about, proposals and stuff. And this is what he said. Again, this is like his 3rd week in the program. He said, this entire thread just opened it up for me. good grief, I've been doing things the long way. So like just having a conversation about like the process of how different guys do proposals. Because by the way, there's, depending on what you do, if you're a drywall finisher, you're going to have a different process for doing estimates, and sales than if you're a general contractor building homes or whatever. Like, so it's not like everybody follows the exact same process. But even within that, there's nuanced things. And that's what he's saying. He's like, just this thread alone has opened my eyes, and I realized I've been doing things the long way. That's a community result, right? Now, had he come to me and said, hey, this is how I do this, what are your thoughts? I could have told him like, hey, shorten the process. But because there's so many different things in business, like there's hundreds and hundreds of, moving parts in your business, it's hard to like articulate or like say, these are like, here's the 97 things you need to fix in your business, because every business is different. So a lot of times gold nuggets and information just comes out organically through conversation, through chat messages, through posts. And then you learn like, oh, that's a little bit of wisdom. And you would have never had that had you hadn't been in the community. If he hadn't joined the Profit Club, then he would have been continuing to do it the long way for who knows how long, maybe months or years. Just that, just the community aspect alone has now gave him one little piece of nugget that's going to save him time and execution. So there's a saying, there's power in numbers. There's true. You don't want to be in the zombie apocalypse. It's better to have a community of people that can support each other than being out there by yourself. So it's no different in business. It's better to have community. It's better to have power in numbers. And so like that's the power of community. And so when you get plugged into a community, which by the way, I'm very protective of my community. If you're listening to this and we've had a conversation and you've been interested in getting coaching, and I've told you like, I don't think it's a good fit, that's probably because I don't believe that you're going to fit well with the community. I don't just let anybody in, by the way. The way I keep it a premium community is by gatekeeping. Just because you call me up and say, Brad, I'll pay you double, does not mean you're getting in. I don't care about the money. You have to fit and you have to be willing to be part of this community. And I will put my community against any other community out there, free or paid. I don't care what it is. My community of clients, contractors, are the freaking best in the world. You won't get to be a part of that because, I don't know, you want to do it yourself. You want to figure it out on your own. I don't know why you would do that, but that's just what happens. So that's the 5 things, guys. We got to make you profitable. We got to change your mindset. We got to fix your time management and make you more efficient with your time. We're going to fix your branding, and then we're going to plug you into a community. And from there, it's just win after win after win. We just keep winning and winning and winning. So if you guys are interested in the coaching, feel free to reach out to me. There are links in the show notes. You can get more information about some of those. I do have 2 currently. I have 2 coaching programs available. I have the Profit Club. That's my premium group coaching. And then I have a newly released Profit Accelerator. It's a much more condensed version. There's not as many features. There's not as much support, but it's much cheaper to make it affordable for people so that they can get started and not, use money as a reason not to get help. So if you're interested in the Profit Accelerator, it's only $97 a month. It's dirt cheap right now as we're launching this. You can get in at the founder price. Eventually the price will go up as we add more people because it requires more time for me, more staff, more back-end support. And so take advantage of that now. It's only $97 a month. It's dirt cheap. You can cancel anytime. And there's so many things that come with it. I can't even tell you. It's way underpriced. Like, I'm shooting myself in the foot here. I'm just being honest. But I don't want you to have any excuse for not getting help in your business. So check it out, the Profit Accelerator. Or if you just want to go for the home run, the grand slam, check out the Profit Club there as well. And we can help you with your business. That's the end of the show. That's the 5 things that are super important to your business. Do me a favor, share this episode. Give me a review if you got any value of any of the episodes that I've put out. Here's the thing. If you've listened to more than 2 episodes, like all the way through, you owe me a review. That's the least you can do. Go to your platform, leave a review. That's the payment. This is episode 218 episodes. It's a lot to do. So pay your dues, leave a review. If you want help, check it out. That's all I got, guys. You know where to find me on the social media. You can just search for the Hammer and Grind podcast. And remember, until next time, profit is not a dirty word.